Go to Tennessee and Oklahoma. Obviously, this is a huge matchup, college game day in town. Tennessee's offense has been explosive as can be, and Oklahoma found some footing last week. Jackson Arnold looked good against a good Tulane team. Well, he looked all right. He was their leading rusher, Jake. This Big 12 guy. Every time I bring up another Big 12 quarterback, JP, you see the looks I get.
Yeah.
He's not. Well, Jackson Arnold's not a Big 12 quarterback, so.
Oh, God. You still have that little fuming hatred for him, too. That little bias, that Iowa State bias, comes out of you a little bit, which I respect. But, JP, I'm going to go to you on this one to break it down first. What do you think in this matchup?
This one I have for a later segment we'll do in this show. But there are things in this game that do make me think it's not giving me the same vibes as NC State. I'll go out and say
wait a second.
What?
This isn't your play of the week, right? Tennessee minus the 7?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to clear that up because I think Jake and I have the same pick and we're just discovering it, but I'm just throwing that out there. Go ahead, JP. Sorry.
Mine is not. I think this doesn't scream the same as the NC State game. Like, I understand Oklahoma's had its issues and things, and there are some glaring problems that Tennessee can take advantage of. Tennessee is able to get pressure without bringing pressure. Like, they don't have to bring a fifth, a sixth. They don't have to do that. The tackles for Oklahoma struggled. They struggled staying healthy even. What does that tell me, though? Like, that tells me that Tennessee may try and make Arnold beat them through the air nonstop without bringing pressure and just bring Pierce and bring guys off the edge. But at the same time, like, Arnold can't be your leading rusher. You have to find a way to get the rest of these running backs. I mean, between Sawchuk and Barnes and all these other guys, the guys got to get involved. Like, we have to find a way to run the football. And I think Oklahoma, it knows this is like an oh shit moment. Like, the world's like picking against us. Feels like if I'm Oklahoma, I don't think the pressure is that much. Like, I feel like I've seen articles that are like, is this a must win for Venables in Oklahoma? No, I mean, I don't feel like it is. I feel like you can kind of go into this one with nothing to lose. Tennessee's the one.
I think it's a must show up. I think you got to show up.
Like, show up, but like, you don't have to win. And I feel like they will show up. I feel like the defense has an opportunity here to really to stifle a Tennessee team that hasn't had even a 2x4 put in front of them, right? We saw like 10-3 going into half, and then a pick 6 late with NC State. Turns out that goes the other way. It's 17-3, and that was about the end of that one. Oklahoma, I feel like, is going to have the ability to slow down that offense. I know and I understand what Nico brings to that offense with the ability to throw the football downfield on a rope and then get outside the pocket and make gains with his legs. But I'm not sold that running game is just going to be able to go all over Oklahoma and those linebackers in the defensive front and just stifle this thing. Like, I feel like there's an opportunity for Oklahoma to stay in this defensively and play it really smart, as long as you're not giving the ball away and you're not constantly behind the sticks offensively. So I do think Oklahoma stays close here. I think this stays close. I think if I look at this from 10,000 feet without reading anything, just my observations on everything, Oklahoma is better than perceived. Tennessee hasn't had a reality check yet and hasn't been pushed the wrong way quite yet. What happens when that first happens on the road, game 1 in the SEC? When Oklahoma will be ready for it and the whole place will be ready for it. What happens then? So that's why I kind of take this one.
I can kind of see that the same way. I think one of the main things I heard that you said that it was my entire note is Oklahoma, you have to slow this game down. Keep Tennessee's offense off the field because Nico will burn you. As you give him more opportunities than not, he's going to burn you. And then all of a sudden you're going to find yourself in a game that you cannot keep up with this Tennessee offense. You can see in the press conferences throughout the week, the confidence Heupel has in this offense and just them as a unit. They have weapons on the outside, they're performing, and Nico is such an elite quarterback that everything runs through him, and that's fine. They can solely base their offense off of that. Jackson Arnold needs to get going in the run game again. Had a couple of rushing touchdowns against Tulane, but he needs to extend plays with his legs, run, take 5 when he can get them. As anything you can do to keep that offense on the field and keep Tennessee off of it, that's when Oklahoma's going to find themselves in a good spot. Jake.
Yeah, Jackson Arnold, you're right, JP. He has been their best rusher, and that's not a good thing. Like, Sawchuk and Barnes have both been just average, and I think that has something to do with the offensive line being a little banged up right now. But I think Tennessee is personally the last team you want to see with a banged up offensive line, because I think they have an underrated defensive line in one of the best, top 5 in all of college football. It's just, I know Oklahoma's defense is really good. I know that that's going to keep them in football games all season long, but there's a lot of question marks offensively with that football team that I just don't know if they can keep up on against this Tennessee offense. Like, you look at the receivers, you got Dante Thornton, Squirrel White, Brew McCoy, Chris Brazzell. Oklahoma has Burks right now. Like, I know they have a bunch of other guys, but haven't been playing. Statistically, they're not, keeping up. So you just have Burks. You have no running game. Your offensive line's hurt. Your tight ends are eh. And I saw a stat because I was watching the Tulane game last weekend, and ESPN pulls up a stat. Like, Jackson Arnold's like, when he's faced with pressure, however you want to say that, I don't know exactly what they categorize as just pressure, but when he's under pressure, Jackson Arnold's 6 for 16 with 1 pick. So he's throwing much less than 50%. He's going to face as much pressure as he has seen all year yet. Houston's defense is okay. Temple was really bad. I think Tulane was fine, more so offensively. What I saw Oklahoma defensively against Tulane's offense was more impressive to me. But I see that home field being a huge advantage for them. I see that place coming out on fire. The defense feeds off of that for Oklahoma. They give them a couple of punches in the first half. I just don't know if the offense has enough to keep up in the second half and maybe cover this number. Awesome linebacker matchup, though. You got Danny Betzman on one side. You got Keenan Pili, the 26-year-old. I think he's a BYU transfer on the other side for Tennessee. Shocker. He's really good in the middle, too. So, yeah, awesome game. We're going to see this Saturday.
The SEC opener for Oklahoma and their time in the conference. I think if there's anybody that's going to have a team ready to go defensively for an offensive unit like Tennessee, it might be Brett Venables. If you don't remember, they had multiple elite defenses at Clemson. That was one of the reasons they brought him into this Oklahoma team. So it could be a game here. JP, you think it's going to be? Let's start it off roundtable style. Score predictions. Who wins? Who covers?
I think this number is around 60 on the total, something like that. I think Tennessee wins, but I think it's close. I really do think Oklahoma comes out knowing that they have to show something here and really figure something out, or it's going to be a long day, and they understand that. So I'm not going to, go against them in that situation. I think this one's like 27-24, somewhere in there. Like I said the same thing in the Nebraska game. Like I just don't see this one getting into the 30s for both teams. I don't see Oklahoma like slowing it down completely, but finding a way to just stay in this darn thing, right? Like you said, Venables against Heupel, scheme versus scheme, man. The guys that are best of the best. Like, let's see it, and let's see who can confuse the other guy first.
Yeah, I'm on a little bit of a different page. I do not know if Oklahoma can handle this Tennessee defensive front enough to keep this game close. I think Nico's going to hurt him with extended plays because he's not going to be running a ton. But this Oklahoma defense has been pretty solid. They haven't played, obviously, great competition. But the way this offense that Tennessee is running and the confidence they're running with right now, they don't give a shit about the people in Norman. Give me Tennessee 45-21 on the road. They're going to keep it rolling. That's an absolute blowout, I know, but there's too much offensive firepower and too much pressure they're going to put on Jackson Arnold. He'll make his mistakes. Jake.
I thought I had a lot of confidence in this pick. Apparently not as much as you, Parks. I like the under in this game. I do think this is, if it's in the 60s, I think this has got a chance to be under. Like I said, I can see it being like the NC State game, and Tennessee comes out a little slow. You're right, JP. This is not NC State, but offensively, again, I just think Oklahoma's got a lot of disadvantages, kind of like what we saw in Grayson McCall at NC State a couple of weeks ago. That being said, 31-21, give me Tennessee. I think they pull away and cover late.
I don't know if a 10-point win is pulling away, but I'll give it to you. So we got 2 on Tennessee to cover, and JP is on Oklahoma. I don't know where Reese is at. I think he is going to include these somehow, some way. Hopefully he'll text us, but he is off tonight. I didn't mention him, but we miss you, Reese. But all right, that is Tennessee and Oklahoma. Obviously a big matchup, college game day in town, and the SEC opener for the Sooners. So we'll see if they can pull one out against a very highly ranked.
I'm not confident in Oklahoma covering. I'm picking the home team getting the points in a spot they got to show up. So this could be like a 27, 17, 20.
That's the old cover your ass little.
I have a feeling
I'm not confident in that number. The spread.
I have a feeling JP's doing us a solid and making sure we're not unanimous Tennessee on this pick.
Oh, I can only imagine Reese.
I don't need to do any solid.
Reese is definitely this race.
I'm back in this race.
No, I know you are. But Reese is definitely on Tennessee. I just know it.
Has to be.